things, but add value. God has a, sometimes you just have to find a way to add value. Mm-hmm. And what you said about the tour is key too, because a lot of people want to travel.
Just being an extra like homie, and not extra. I'm saying like extra.
That's real. That's real. You can say that.
It's real. Everybody has to, it has to make sense, and it's dope to want to bring everybody and bring your people.
Right.
But everybody should have a purpose. Make sure everybody's doing something. It don't matter what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They could be this, they could be the barber, but as long as they're adding value, so that they're not just bodies, they're just taking up, space and money.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop. Bag drop.
Bag drop. All right.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, guys, welcome back. EYL, we back stateside.
Yeah.
Shout out to the UK, shout out to France, shout out to Europe. All the love that we got over there, man. That was a legendary run.
Shout out to Germany.
Germany, for sure.
Yeah.
But now we back stateside and back doing what we like to do as far as cover culture. If you know EYL, if you're an EYL historian, the first tagline was the backstories of sports and entertainment.
Okay.
So that was the first kind of concept was to talk about finance, but talk about like from a sports and entertainment perspective. So did like 50 Cent Vitamin Water deal, Soulja Boy,
Dipset Supreme,
of course Jay-Z,
of course,
and all the different things that he's done. So that was always the core, and then we kind of just grew into business, financial literacy. We started talking about stocks, crypto, and all that stuff, but we always stayed true to our core of culture, music,
hip-hop,
entertainment, sports, all
life.
that stuff. Yeah, that's kind of the stuff that we grew up on.
Yeah.
So this is a dope. I always like these conversations. I always say some of my favorite interviews: Chris Gotti,
yes,
Dame Dash,
absolutely.
Who else fits in that mold?
Fat Joe.
But I'm talking about like, the behind the scenes.
Yeah. The guys that.
Like the guy,
their stories haven't been truly told. Yeah.
But Joe's still dope too, because even though he's an artist and he's in front, he still is kind of like on the backside, because he's a real fan and a real historian of the culture. So the way he tells them stories from many perspectives.
And Terror Squad is a label that is his label.
Yeah. Jason Jeter also. He's another one with a bunch of good stories.
Yeah.
So today we got Lenny Santiago, better known as Lenny S.
Lenny S.
What's up, my brothers?
I don't pose the threat, blame Lenny S for that.
Holla at your boy.
I'm here to learn about financial literacy. This is actually a class. Okay. You can call it a podcast, but this is just my class for financial literacy.
All right.
So nothing happens before it's time. We got to start there because we met before. You probably won't remember this.
I'm thinking.
So this is crazy. We were going to the Pie and More show in Brooklyn. This is like 2019. And I tapped Shotty. I'm like, yo, Lenny S. Because we had wrote down people we want to sit down with.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, holla at him. I'm like, saying, I think you was with your man.
Yeah, it was the one in Brooklyn at the theater.
The theater, yeah. And I walked up. I'm like, yo, telling you what we do. We got this podcast.
Yeah.
At the time, we were calling that. It's bigger than that now. But I'm like, yo, we got this podcast. We're talking about the behind the scenes of sports and entertainment. We'd love to have you on. You're kind of like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, we just did DJ Envy. Because at the time, we had literally just did DJ Envy. Yeah. And we were talking about the Empire Strikes Back mixtape.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, yo, I need that third. Envy said there's another Siegel verse.
The third verse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you know where we were going with that. Shout out to Kiss. And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, just keep going, guys, keep going. I'm like, I went back to him. He was like, how'd it go? I'm like, nothing happens before it's time. I said, nothing happens before it's time, man. So this is like a full circle.
It is. With me, it's really just being consistent, because you got to think, I have.
Yeah, we got it.
I'll be modest to say dozens, but it's a lot.
I respect it.
I mean, through social media, through in person, if I go somewhere, like, there's a lot of just people like that kind of stuff. Like, I got this, so I got an artist, so I got it. And it's like, I want to address it all. And I really do mean it. I'm like, yo, let's.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna make it happen.
One of the best things I heard was Diddy said this on Instagram a while ago. He was like, I'm looking to connect with black creators, black film directors. He was like a whole list of people that he wanted to connect with. He was like, find me.
Yeah. Okay, Buff, thanks.
People in the comments were like, what? But I understood what he was saying. Like, it's like, get to the point where you hot enough where you're going to get referred, and now it makes sense.
Sooner or later, you can't deny me.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It started coming around little by little. You know what I'm saying? I even dated an accountant. She was She's like, are you leisure? Like, okay, you're saying that because you're a fucking accountant. But no. It really, I love when things come at me and my man. Then you guys know Nicole.
Yep.
Yeah. Nicole even hit me. It was like, these are my guys, and I was like, nah, I've been watching. They're really dope.
It's
like,
Diddy too.
Whatever they
Diddy
need.
was like, that's my guy. Let's make this happen.
Like, whatever you need.
So, shout out to Nicole. She put this together. So Lenny S, legend in the entertainment game. You don't like the word legend?
I'm not a legend, but I'm
We're going with that.
trying to do my thing.
So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting conversation. Started at the street team, I believe, right?
Started at the street team level doing street promotions. Yeah.
Worked his way up to music executive, manager extraordinaire. He manages DJ Khaled, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
It's called the biggest.
I hope. I'm part of the,
The biggest.
Was part of the two biggest regimes in hip hop history.
Easily.
Bad Boy.
At the height of it.
Yeah, Bad Boy, and then Roc-A-Fella. That's like going from the Boston Celtics to the Lakers. Like, like Boston Celtics to the Lakers in the 80s and then in the 2000s. So this is going to be a legendary situation. Lenny S, I'm sure you probably heard his name all throughout it. Right? He might be one of the most mentioned people in Jay-Z's rap. He doesn't really mention a lot of people, but he mentions your name a lot.
Once or twice. Yeah. I'm grateful.
So yeah, man, this is going to be a dope conversation. So first and foremost, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the journey. A lot of people are familiar with you now. They heard your story. But your career is over probably 25, 30 years.
25,
right?
yeah, 22 decades,
So
25. Yeah.
how did it start? I know it started on street promotion, which now there is no such thing.
Yeah, people are like, what is that exactly?
Social media street promotion.
That is it, right? Like,
You know what's funny though? I saw was it All-Star Weekend? I saw like quality control posters, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, I saw-
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, but
yeah.
those are guys, Coach and P, they understand what that is. So it was dope to see that, like, oh shit.
You come from
like,
that.
It was all over, like, by the hotels and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really exist a lot in a little lost art. But I mean, it served its purpose at the time. There was no social media. There was no, like, outlets really to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. It was really putting in the footwork, the groundwork, going literally hand to hand, going outside of concerts, parties, seminars, car shows, anything where you thought, our audience was. If there was a hip hop movie opening up, like Friday, anything like that, okay, that's our audience, that's what we're gonna go promote. And that's how we had to get the word out.
stickers, street signs. At one point, you had the flag. Just waving the flag.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best. I think Rough Riders might have had the best that I've ever seen with the motorcycles,
Bikes and
They were
bikes,
because they had the
They were
gear.
jackets.
They were out of here.
Yeah. It was just it's an interesting business case study because it's a form of marketing that is no longer around, but there's still things that you can actually implement from that era now.
Yep.
As far as like the Blitz promotion and the merch and all of that stuff is still kind of relevant now. It's just in a different form. Yep. So like when you started working, that was with Bad Boy?
That was actually a little bit before then. So I had some friends of mine who I was fortunate to have that were in the business. So I got a little like, not to say a cheap way in, but a little head start in. But again, nothing official. So that was like Showbiz and AG, the Legion, and Black Sheep. So Drez lived in the Bronx for a while. So, and the Legion were my guys. So I got to go out with them, and the Drez, Drez had shows, which was out. Choice is Yours was out. It was the biggest record. So imagine, I wanted to be in the music business already, dying to be in it, and like I got some friends in the neighborhood who actually have a hit record. So I was
in the music business, not as an artist though.
Oh no! I mean, I wanted to be an artist very early on, but I came to my senses, and I was just like, you know what? You know what's funny? I gave myself like a sort of like an option of like, if I make it meaning like if I get an internship or a job, I'm not gonna be an artist, but I'll try to be an artist up until that happens, and whichever one comes first. And I had a partner, God bless him, he passed recently, but I had a rap partner, and I told him the same. I was like, yo, whichever come first. So when I got the internship at Bad Boy, I was like, I didn't want to be the guy in the office doing that, and then also like, yo, I rap too. Like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
So what year was the Bad Boy internship?
95?
95.
Yeah, because I was only there a year, and I don't take any credit at all for like, Roc, I've been there from day one. I'm a part of the team, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Bad Boy, I came in when they were already on fire. My brother Super Mario put me on, and it was an amazing year, a year and a half, what it was. It was short-lived, and then Roc-A-Fella started '96.
Yep.
And I was already a big J fan. I had already, seen them out and about. My friend Ray was working with them doing radio promotion, so that was going to be my in. So I immediately went to Roc. I wanted to be somewhere where obviously I believed in, but also that was starting from scratch because I wanted to be a part of what Bad Boy built. Yeah. And when I was there, I didn't feel like that because they were, they was already, they did their thing.
Was already out.
Yeah, they did their thing for years. And I came into a great team, but I didn't help build that. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to go somewhere to be a part of something from the beginning.
So you're at Roc-A-Fella at the time.
He's working on
Reasonable Doubt.
He's working on it. Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't out yet. Yeah.
So how'd you enter into that rock? You didn't know Jay? Or
I knew Jay by face. So I knew Jay and Dan. Remember, I was everywhere. Okay. My whole goal from high school, go anywhere that there is music stuff going on. If I heard about a video, I went to the video. If I heard about a seminar, in-store, I don't care if Nas or Leo was signing autographs at whatever store. I went, anything music, because I figured whatever music related was going on, it was going to be music related people or artists or and I read credits. So I knew every person, Nas is going to be, I know Jungle, I know this, I don't know them, but I know.
But
sounds like
I was trying to establish relationships.
That's very important. And it was crazy. I said this in London. I was talking to somebody. I said the two biggest keys in business is to stay close and to add value. And that seems like it's easy, but so many people cannot do that. And it's like what you're talking about. So many people fail that part of it, where it's like just be in the right place.
How many times have we said that? Like even every time we get on stage, I say the same thing. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's being in the right place all the time. And you're literally studying the people, like you know all the people. It feels like our story in a sense. It was like I remember reading credits, and I know every producer, and then I know everybody's on the team. Like I'm like, this makes perfect sense. I want to see these people one day. I want to meet these people. I
studied that whole shit. I studied Jay's whole crew. I was saying what's up to Beehive's cousin, like Tata. I was like, yo, Tata, like, and you do it so familiar. They're like, man, do I know this guy? Because it gets done to me now. You know what I'm saying? Like people are like, yo, Lenny S, what up, bro? You been good? And I'm like, good. Like I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I know them. Or
what that sound like? I'll tell you, we ran into Hop in LA, and I was just like, yo, that's Hop over there. We were walking, they were like, I'm like, that's hip hop, like
legend.
That's rock
legend.
right there. Like
that's a legend.
And we sat down and had a conversation with him, and it was ironic that we could have had Biggs. Biggs was going to be on the show.
Damn, that's a good one to be on.
Yeah, and we kind of ran into each other at the same time. It was like, man, all these people I looked up to. This is incredible.
Hey, Ernest, did you know that the black community has $2.7 trillion of spending power? Are you ready to see what you can do when you combine and recirculate our resources to expand the pool of black excellence? I know I'm ready, and that's why we've partnered with Greenwood, the in-demand black-owned digital banking platform. Greenwood's namesake was founded in 1906, built from the brilliance of black dreamers looking to create a self-sufficient community in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, aka Black Wall Street. Today, Greenwood is a digital banking platform with the mission to strengthen the black dollar using the same community reinvestment strategies of the original Greenwood district. And it's powered by a best-in-class mobile app that allows you to bank from anywhere. So, Ernest, if you're ready to build a new legacy of black economic achievement, go to bankgreenwood.com/EYL and sign up to be a part of the new Greenwood community. That's bankgreenwood.com/EYL. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Head over there now.
Yeah.
And when you guys put in your work, it now becomes that much easier, right? Because they're familiar with it, or they heard about it, or their friend did the podcast, or and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. What with y'all? Yeah.
So, all right. So you had all of these different clubs, all these different events, everything, record signings, and your face becomes familiar.
Yeah.
So what leads to you actually getting in the door and actually getting a position?
That's what led to it. Exactly what you said. It was my face became super familiar, and the guy Super Mario, who was like a big, heavy promo guy back then, he's the one that was about to get the job with Puff. And that's when he was like, yo, I see you everywhere, who you work with. And I was like, I don't even know what to say. I was like, I'm just out here. Because I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? And I would be promoting my guys, Black Sheep and them and the Legion. But remember, that I didn't work for the label or them. It was just, I just did something like, I got to look like I'm in this shit.
Yeah.
So that's when he was like, yo, work nowhere. I was like, nah. He was like, bet. He was like, if I get this job with Bad Boy, you on. Like, you good. And like 2 weeks later, man, he hit me 3 weeks later. And was like, yo, I got it, like you on. So I'm at working at this lighting company. I'm actually building lights,
Like electrician?
Yeah, building lights, right? and dying to get in the music business. And I get that call, and I'm like, out.
Yo,
Quit.
fired my job.
Fuck nigga. Like, no. By the way, got to the Bad Boy, and it was no pay. It was like, it was a street team. You know what I'm saying? So like, whatever, I jumped out the window, but it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing more I wanted to do. I used to tell everybody, I used to have a lot of friends that worked in the business. There was this guy named Lindsay, who his family is Sylvia's. They own Sylvia's restaurant.
Yeah.
So I got to see those things early on, and Lindsay worked for Def Jam. So Lindsay was bringing Slick Rick to the block, 87, 88. I mean, I'm seeing this like, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I used to tell, but I was 10, 11, 12, 13. You know what I'm saying? I used to tell those guys, like, yo, let me, but you know, as a 12, 13-year-old, they're looking at me like, what? Like,
Out of here, kid.
out of here, kid. Yeah. But that's how ambitious I was. And the point is, I always told everybody, I just need a shot. Like, if you just give me a free shot, I'm going to prove. Because I really didn't even know what, I was listening to you guys' podcast with Ross. And you know how Ross was talking about how he went through the businesses and he didn't even know about them.
Yeah.
He just did it and learned as he went. It was the same thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do in music business. I didn't know if there was a retail person, a promotions person, radio person, A&R. I didn't know any of those titles so I just was like, I'll figure it out as I get there. I know that I'm hungry enough, I'm ambitious enough, and I'm driven enough. And that's it. If you tell me this is what you got to do, you got to call every radio station or every retail store and make sure that our product is there, then just give me the assignment.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
So you start Street Team. You're at the Reasonable Doubt. So Reasonable Doubt,
Oh, but how did you get to Roc-A-Fella?
Roc-A-Fella was through a friend of mine named Ray Ray. Ray Ray was a promotion guy as well, just like Super Mario was. And Ray Ray used to work at like Penalty Records or something. And he used to give me like
Penalty,
little small bags. I got to work with Nori. That's how I met Nori.
Yeah.
Me and Nori became brothers way back. Wild story. But anyway, so Ray Ray left Penalty when Roc-A-Fella started and went as the promotion guy. So office brand new, 1995. It's only like Dame, Biggs, Jay, Ray Ray, and like maybe one or two, Christy Clifford, and like maybe one other person. It was like, Roc-A-Fella Records was like 6 people.
6 people.
So that was my in. It was like Ray Ray. So I went, harassed him. He already knew me. He knew how hard I went. He was like, bet, I got you.
Yeah.
And then I got in a room. He was like, you just got to talk to Dame and Jay, just so, And when I got in the room, I got shitted on. Yeah,
Talk about that.
That's what I was
yeah.
That's it.
When I got in the room, they immediately knew me from the street, and they knew me from the Bad Boy promotion. So they knew me as a Bad Boy promoter, and then they was both like, nah, he's a bad boy. Like we want Roc-A-Fella, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
street team. And I was like, no, quit. And they was like, nah, we good. And I'm like, no, I actually left Bad Boy to come here. Nah, we good. So they didn't put me on. Cool. I told Ray Ray to give me any product that he would receive and just let me know everywhere Jay and Dame and Biggs were gonna be. So if he had a little club date, I just got the schedule and I showed up everywhere. Me and my man Bert showed up everywhere. Just, you know what I'm saying? Every time they come out, they see it. They know they don't have no street team and they don't have no staff. So it's like, who's putting this up? So I made sure they saw every time until after a few months.
It was like,
They were just like, all right.
But what made you leave Bad Boy at its peak? Because Bad Boy's on fire at that time.
Bad Boy's on fuego. Like,
and take a chance with an up and coming, relatively it's a risk at that point in time.
big risk, but I thought, honestly, I swear to God, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know Jay was gonna be this big, but I knew Jay was gonna be the biggest. It's just, he was just too good. He was too prolific. He was too profound. And I didn't know him personally at that time. I'm just saying, as a fan of the music, listening to him on Big Daddy Kane, listening to him on...
And this is before the first album.
This is before the first album. This is In My Lifetime. You can't listen to In My Lifetime and watch that video that they funded and not think this guy is like...
Well, this is interesting because around that time, I was young, but I was heavily into rap at that time. And I remember when Jay first came out, even after the album came out, people still wasn't really fully respecting him. I remember, I was telling my cousin, I'm like, yo, this kid Jay-Z, he's dope. And he's like, Jay-Z, he's like, who, AZ? I'm like, no, Jay-Z.
AZ was bigger than him at the time.
Yeah. He's like, who, AZ? I'm like, no, Jay-Z.
Another guy from Brooklyn.
He got this song, he's dope. It's his whole album. The whole album is dope. So I say that to say, that's even before that. So for you to say that you knew he was going to be the biggest, that's a lot because Big was around.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang was around. Nas was around.
Let's look at this,
Dogs
right?
was killing.
This is a small example, but even stuff at the time, everybody was wearing Versace. So everybody, from Biggie to everybody, talked about Versace. Jay didn't say Versace. Jay said the Medusa had turned me to stone. Like, what?
Yeah.
How the fuck can you describe Versace like that? Where everybody else is like, the Versace, I got the Medusa had turned me to stone. Like, he was just like, he just had a different perspective to me. And again, I wasn't with them in the street, but listening to it, you felt how real it was. You know what I'm saying?
You know, we forgot to mention at that time, because we only think in the East Coast, but at that time, you got Pac. And you got Snoop just dominating.
West Coast, the whole
like,
West Coast,
completely dominating. But I want to go back to something because it's pretty big, and this can relate to business, is that value add. Even though they told you no, right? Because most people won't do that. They'll get turned down and say, all right, let me go find another opportunity. You got turned down and said, nah, let me still add value. Let me just help. And it led to that. So like
for free.
100%.
Most people won't even like.
They won't do something if you pay them.
If you pay them, they're still not going to do it.
That's a fact.
That determination, that grit, like where did it come from?
There's nothing else I wanted to do. I don't want to like sound redundant or like cheesy. Like I had to be in the music business, and I had to be in the music business with somebody that I really love. You know what I'm saying? Like if we were in these times, I would have, OVO or something. It would have, there's, you know what I'm saying? There's certain people that I love or respect, or a team or a crew, or I gotta be in that organization because this is what I love, this is what I believe in, and I believe that I can add value to what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So Roc, Jay to me was like, this is the guy. Yeah. This is the guy.
So at what point do they say, after like they've turned you down, but you're still showing up, you still have a guy, and they're like, you know what? Let's add Lenny to the team.
Yeah, it was a few months later, and it was just like, all right.
Whose decision was it? Jay, Dame?
Yeah, Jay and Dame. Biggs was always quiet. Like, Biggs obviously made decisions with them, but I didn't have no relationship with Biggs. Like, Dame was the CEO, obviously super talkative. So, he was outspoken. Jay was obviously, who he is. He's just more reserved and chill. But I got to develop my relationship with Jay because of the studio. Because when I transitioned from street team to A&R, I was able to be in the studio, and hip hop was the A&R, the only A&R at the time. And again, I found my way in. I was like, okay, I want to be an A&R, but I don't have A&R experience. I've never signed an artist. I've never signed a producer. I don't have A&R experience. I think I could figure it out. But so anyway, the way I figured it out was hip hop was the only A&R at the time. A&R comes with creative direction, and then it also comes with administrative work. It has to be both. You have to clear samples and do paperwork, but you also have to find beats and find artists and find producers and find writers. Hip hop only liked the creative side. So I was like, boop, I'll do the administrative side. You know what I mean? Because that was my way in. And Dame was like, cool, you gonna handle that for hip hop. And I was like, with pleasure. And that got me in the studio every day.
But what you're saying is so vital as far as business. Like, I don't even know if you fully understand it, because these are things that we speak about. In like seminars and stuff like that, as far as the find where you can add value, even if you don't necessarily like it. Yeah. Like you said, like you saw the opening where it's like, all right, administrative work is something that he's not interested in. You probably wasn't overly.
Yeah, I'm not saying like I didn't want to be. I didn't even know what I was going to do.
But you saw that's a value add.
That's that value add.
Another thing, like, so we got a partner that we work with called MG the Mortgage Guy. Shout out to him. And I love his story because how he approached me, it wasn't like, yo, can I get on? It was like, yo, I got clients for you. How can I add value to me? And he was doing it for months for free and never asked for anything. And then that just led to like, okay, come on. And now we just developed the relationship. Now we business partners. And that's what you did. As far as even, you took a step further, even when they turned you down, you still added value for free for months. And then it's only a matter of time before
we got to get stuff.
And so many people lose that. Like, you could go to have an MBA from Harvard and not understand those principles, and it's not going to work out for you, because most people network from a selfish standpoint. It's like, how can you help me today? Instead of what can I do for you?
Exactly. Great point, by the way. And also, I was going to say, like, I also always try to be self-aware. Again, I don't know if I acknowledged that or realized that back then. Like, I didn't probably even know what self-aware was right back then. But I mean, like, my mentality has always been that, is like, all right, these guys don't know me, so they're not going to just be like, yeah, fine, come on, cool, you're on. You know what I mean? So you have to look at the things from other people's side. Like, why? Why would they want to hire me? Why would they want to put me on? Just because they saw me around a little bit, and, at clubs or at concerts, you know what I'm saying? So I always figure, like, let me try to add my value to the company for free to prove to you that I'm worth a shot. And by the way, I wasn't even looking for a job. I was looking for a shot at a job. So it's like, whatever that was going to take. And then once I was in, like I said, I could tell you every transition. I'll give you another example. And this was a good friend of mine, Shaka Pilgrim's one of the most brilliant people
Shout out to Shaka.
in the business.
Yeah, right there. Spoke to her too.
Well, dope. So Shaka, there was a time where they was about to go on tour. And remember, I'm an A&R, but I want to go on tour. Like, I want to go on tour, but I have no purpose on tour. Zero. The A&R has no purpose on tour, but all the artists were going. So I A&R'd, I helped with Jay, A&R'd with Bleak, Beanie Siegel, all of them were going on tour.
Which tour is it?
Hard Knock Life.
Oh.
Right? So I don't have,
Hard Knock.
I don't have no means to go. I don't have no reason to go on tour.
Yeah.
And then they were about to hire a videographer. And I remember I always took photography as a hobby. And we had to work on 2 albums. So Shaka was like, dang, you're going to hire this fucking dumbass photographer that y'all don't know instead of just using Lenny? And I didn't, by the way, I didn't even think of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll take photos for free. I mean, I'm already an employee, so it's not free. It's like, I'm fine. And then also, we had to work on 2 albums. So we was like, yo, why don't we just work on an album? We get a studio bus and we work on an album on the road. And then he was with it. So we were doing DJ Clue album on the road. We was doing,
Siegel?
Yeah, it was both. So now I had multiple reasons now to go on tour. So again, I was going to figure out, because I'll tell you what wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to not be on that tour.
And now you're in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I filmed a lot of
That's what I was going to say. So like you're the one, obviously you're, because photography is something that I admire that you do, and we'll get to that later, but it was like, now you found a way to get on tour, value add by shooting it, but now they're actually using your footage to create.
Then that's how the universe turned over. They got a bunch of professional, shooters, videographers, whatever it is. This is the 90s, bro. I don't even know what a videographer is. I don't even care. But nobody was comfortable with them, right? And the thing I had with my photos was that I could take a picture of anybody, anywhere, because everybody kind of knew me or knew of me at the time within the family. So Rough Riders knew me, you know what I'm saying? Red and Meth, they kind of knew me already. So you kind of knew me already. So it was like, oh, that's Lenny. It's all good. It's like, so the same thing with the filming. They were filming, and then like Beans and all of them kept like, yo, get that shit out of here. And then it was just like, just let Lenny do it. They're not gonna tell Lenny no. And that's how I got to film everything.
You know who else took the videographer route to get in? Another one of our friends, Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy Jones.
Yeah, absolutely.
He actually did a lot.
Yeah, he told us though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I used to use him as an example with our guys who were like, guys around like Bleak or around Beanie Siegel, because like Jim would like even be an engineer. And I know that he didn't know how to engineer, but he was like, you know what? I know the basics, and I got an assistant that works at the studio that knows everything. And boom, and that was another bag. Yeah. And then so it's just like inserting yourself, like, okay, I could. Same with directing. He was like directing videos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Again, you got a director of photography. You're literally he's gonna actually film it. Yeah. You're just like, get this scene, this box, this how, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because even in the line budget, like if the label has a line budget and you're saying like, I'll take that line, you're the artist, but now you're the director too of the video.
Smart.
It's one of these things that add value, and it's like, he's a street guy. I'm sure he didn't know anything about filming a music video, but learn on the fly.
Figure it out.
He said he was doing that, engineering, security for Cam, anything that Cam needed. That's what he was doing until now he's walking in Virgil's fashion show.
This is
25 years later.
This is true.
Guy has sometimes you just have to find a way to add value. And what you said about the tour is key too, because a lot of people want to travel and they don't add any value. It's like you just cost them money if you're just traveling for no reason.
Just being an extra like homie and not saying I'm saying like extra.
Not real. You can say that.
It's everybody has to it has to make sense and it's dope to want to bring everybody and bring your people.
Right.
But everybody should have a purpose. And by the way, that's what I love about Roc, is that Roc always like taught that or just kind of implemented that in the minds of like the the heads of the labels or the main artists. So it's like, make sure everybody's doing it. It don't matter what they're doing. They could be this, they could be the barber, but as long as they're adding value so that they're not just bodies, they're just taking up, space and money.
So from the A&R standpoint, what's the, because I read that It's Alright is the first song that you
first song that A&R.
So what's that like after you've put this song together? It's a huge success. It ended up on, obviously, Volume 2 and then the soundtrack as well. How you, like, I'm like, you feeling like, yo, I'm part of this now? Like, I'm in a little bit.
And again, right?
Jones, overnight.
It was like using the resources. You know, G. Roberson, one of the best managers in the game.
Yeah.
Me and G shared a desk at Roc.
So it's like you, G, and Hop?
Me, G, and Hop.
Oh, my God.
We shared a desk. And then after a while, you know, Hop was like the guy.
Yeah.
Hop got his own office.
Yeah.
And me and G, just like this, every day. Phone calls, business, every day like this. Every artist that came to see us, they had to see me with G, or G had to see it. So anyway, G. Roberson managed Mahogany, which was the producer of It's All Right. So it was like Bleak was already there, Jay was a given, and it was just like, yo, G, the producer, like bring, you know what I'm saying? Came through, and Jay, Bleak, and Mahogany, It's All Right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's
That's on the Jewels. I blew more money than the trail. Fuels. They don't know you think they know you too well.
Blew more money than the trap. Shout out to Spreewell.
That was my introduction into A&R.
So what exactly does an A&R do though? Because I still feel like that's one of those titles that people still have heard about, but it's kind of like,
And A&R
what's your responsibility as an A&R?
stands for Artist and Repertoire. You basically serve as a liaison. An A&R serves as a liaison between the artist and the label. And they have to, you know, ride out with the production of an album. So the A&R helps the artist complete their album. And that's with anything creative, anything from coming up with, you know, records, from putting, you know, them with, you know, good writers or good producers. Maybe if there's a feature, you guys, and A&R, I mean, good A&Rs, they really go through the whole creative process with the artist, and they're coming up with these things together, or they're just assisting sometimes, just assisting the artist in anything they need. Like, oh man, I think I want to put, you know, whatever, Young Thug on his joint. The A&R's job is now to go and get Young Thug and to talk to the Young Thug's manager and send the record and just try to get it done. Because remember, sometimes it's like a pitch. Sometimes it's not. You know, when they're peers, when Gunna's hitting Young Thug, that's family. That's easy.
easy.
But you know, if maybe this is a new artist on Def Jam and we're trying to get Young Thug, it's like, you know, a lot of times good artists will only work with people that they like or they admire or they, you know, they vibe with. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you have to call out to somebody blindly and get a feature, it comes with a pitch and it comes with, you know, proving why it's worth it, or favor. Yeah. So an A&R job is to get the whole album done, but also within the finances that you're given. So if you get $500,000 to make an album, that's what you have to make the album for. That's recording, that's mixing, that's mastering, that's features, that's everything that has to do. You guys want to travel to Atlanta and stay in Atlanta for a month? It's everything is coming out of that budget.
So we're not getting Pharrell on the first album.
I mean,
So let's talk about that a little bit. So the music record label would advance an artist, like
advance
let's
the
say
budget.
$500,000 for the making of an album.
Of an
right?
album, correct.
And then the A&R's job or his team, management, whatever, now they have to use that $500 to get the producers,
to make a complete album.
wardrobe.
Not wardrobe.
wardrobe.
That wardrobe would come into marketing budget. So you get a marketing budget, you get a recording budget. They're different budgets.
Studio time, engineer, producer.
This is everything it takes to make an album. So the recording, traveling, features. If I get, you know, whomever, Lil Uzi Vert, and Uzi Vert is like, yo, I want 100,000. That 100,000 is coming from
20% of your budget, right?
That's 20%. So you got to be smart.
And that better be a big record.
If you
Better
go,
be the biggest
The biggest record.
if you go over budget, what happens?
Then you got to go and you got to ask for reforecast, which is the worst thing.
Reforecast?
A reforecast would be, you know, I'm at 480 right now, and I know I got to do 3 more records, and Hit Boy did one of them, and, you know, Janae Aiko's on one, and she charged me, you know, 50. I'm just making all this up.
Yeah.
And now I know, like, damn, I got an overage of, you know, 162,000. Now I got to go and get that money. I got to go to my, whatever, CEO. I got to go to the financial department, finance department, and now give them reasons why. And I'll be like, but Hit Boy did this joint, like, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's all like a pitch because now you're asking for, you know, it's just like a business. It's like, you know, you open up a restaurant and you already hit your limit, but you don't have bar stools and you don't have alcohol yet.
Right.
Now you got to go back and be like, look, this is where we at. This kind of went over. So you just have to explain why, and then usually, hopefully, it gets approved. So it's
And now this makes a lot of sense. Now I'm thinking about the early days. No, I guess like the early 2000s of Roc-A-Fella, because when you're looking for producers, you got in-house.
Yeah.
And so maybe the
That
price,
was a blessing.
right? This is like a big blessing because now you got
super
Just,
blessing.
you got Kanye, They're killing everything. Plus, you got the hottest artists at the time. You got Bleak and you got Siegel, and Kanye's just bubbling. So now, like, those fees I'm assuming aren't going to be as high if you have to go outside the family to do it.
Exactly. And it's always like, right, I mean, making an album where you're going all around to all the hot people, you know, you're going to probably exceed hundreds and hundreds of thousands or even, you know, millions of dollars, right? Because if you're going to Pharrell, you're going to this person and that person, you know, and all these numbers are, you know, pretty high. It's always best to try to formulate that album where it's like, okay, like let's say what Hit Boy does with, you know, Benny the Butcher. It's like, it's so easier to be like, okay, even if you got 500 for this album and the Hit Boy's doing every track. And now obviously he's gonna give you probably a good rate because he's doing everything. And it's like a solid, so let's just say he's like, yo, give me $250 for everything, which is great. Now you're one producer, got $250, you still got $250 left for recording and stuff like that. But it's good to like make deals like that. Anybody who had in-house production was amazing because there was usually like a cap rate, you know what I'm saying? What's his name with Dipset? There was whatever. Heatmaker. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Not
like
that
so.
Heatmakers.
Yeah. You have
Hitmaker. Like, that's
No,
Heatmaker.
I know.
Heatmaker.
Yeah,
I know Heatmaker. Yeah.
Oh, Hitmaker, you can't say not the real hit. He's a real.
I know. Now he's doing this.
No, I think
he's
he was just saying that.
the way it sounds. they both solid.
But it's always better if you can have either in-house production or do deals with people. I would do deals with people where it's like if I see they're doing more than 2 or 3 songs, I would just do like a song deal. Like, look, we're already 3 songs in.
Yeah.
I know you could probably come up with 2 more. Let's just do a song deal for 100. And now maybe I'm getting somebody who charges 45 for a track, maybe for like 20, 25 a track, because I'm doing a whole bundle. Like, let me just give you 100.
Bundle deal.
You get 5. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Are you placing them on different
sound
albums?
enticing. You can.
Yeah.
Like, it's happened. Let's say I bought 5 tracks from this producer for whatever, Bean Siegel, but he only used 3. I can shift that over to another artist. And
so let me ask you this: as far as the budget thing, what happens if it goes under budget? You get to keep that money.
yeah, you get to keep that money.
Keep that money.
Yeah. It's all in advance either way. You
gotta
pay
pay
it back.
So,
or you can let the record company keep it and not pay it back. So if I get 500, I only spend 4. You could take the 4 home if you want. You're still gonna have to recoup it, or you can just say keep that, and now you only have to recoup 4 instead of recouping 5.
So
because everything has to be paid back.
Right. So let's get into that. So, all right, when the record label gives you a budget for the marketing budget, the music budget, let's say it's $1 million budget, $500,000 for marketing, $500,000 for music. Now you're $1 million technically like in the hole. And that goes against your record sales, right? So
Correct.
the first $1 million that you see,
It'll get recouped.
that goes back.
Back to the
or
record
even
company
now, 360,
before.
anything like
Yeah.
the first $1 million that you make from everything goes back.
Whatever
to the
your
record.
deal is, the amount, whatever deal is made for you to spend, that money has to be recouped before you can start making money.
Anything.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's why artists always, a lot of times, end up in the red because they might not even make enough to even pay back the record label.
Unfortunately, correct. Yeah. And people spend a lot. And, you know, when you're spending and it's kind of like an imaginary budget, you know it's different, right? When you're spending, you ever go to a restaurant or like one of those food courts where there's one in Philly, I think, and you could go to any station you want and just keep. You'll tend to do that more because it's like even when you're ordering in the restaurant, you'll tend to do that more because you're not actually paying one by one. And then when you're at the end, you're like, geez, damn, I went a little hard. You know what I'm saying? But when you're paying for stuff, you're more conscious of like, all right, I just came out 3 different times. One was $78, one was $62, and one was you know what I'm saying? Like you're just more conscious. So when you're working on an album, no money's coming from your
pocket, even though it is coming technically, but you're not looking.
But you're looking like
you haven't seen it.
Somebody else's money.
So that's why artists have a tendency to just spend because it's like it's coming from there. It's coming from this imaginary record company budget that. And even when you run out, you're like, come on, let me get more. I know there's more there. This is a multi-billion-dollar company.
In their mind, it's like I haven't made any money. Well, you haven't made enough money to make money. Is the real thing.
Yeah.
You made
Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, once that money is recouped, then you start making the money on top of it. After that, rather.
Yeah.
So album comes out, sells whatever. It makes $300,000 or $400,000 for the label. You still have maybe 600 more to recoup, and as it sells, and once you're recouped, and then you start making royalties.
So that Jadakiss, why is the record companies designed to keep the artists in debt?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of questions on that.
Yeah, a lot of questions, still a lot of answers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel artists, again, it's all teach his own, but they take more money than they probably need. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like some artists don't. They only want what they need, or they only want what they, what they're going to use. So again, but sometimes people also feel like, hey, it's almost probably going to be impossible to recoup this, so I'd rather take as much up front as I can. You know what I mean?
And it's psychologically, you're never going to treat other people's money like your money. Like if it's everything we do is out of our pocket. So like somebody asks like, what's the budget for this? Like we travel all the time, but it's like our budget is we got to make enough money to pay the Amex bill.
Hello.
It's like, but if it's somebody else, then it's like,
if iHeart's paying, you're like, what?
Exactly.
Run it.
Exactly. Even though it's gonna come back to your money, eventually, you don't, especially if you're young and uneducated on it. You're just like whatever, run it up.
Yeah. One of the things back to the A&R thing is that obviously you had in artist development, but you were also doing video treatments too. Is that something like obviously from the standpoint of you were studying photography, you had started filming?
No, I didn't do treatments, but I made sure that, so I wanted to educate myself on every part of the business. And what I thought would be the best way was to be a part of it all. So again, I obviously attached myself to Jay.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be with him in the studio. So, those studio hours are long, you know what I mean? So we got to develop a really great relationship, all of us that were in there, whoever at the time, right? So now Jay's like, okay, I got to leave to go to do this radio interview at Flex. I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? Now I could develop my relationship with Flex. Now I could develop, even though I don't do radio, why wouldn't I want to know Flex, or why wouldn't I want to know, DJ, and whomever the person was, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, now he's going to do a video. Well, I want to be on the video set. Like, I want to see how this works. I want to see, and I will fuck with the video production person and the video commissioner who actually puts the whole video together, which at the time was like Margot Wainwright at Def Jam. So stay close to Margot, learn how to work the budgets, learn how to work, you know what I'm saying? How do you hire, Hype Williams? Like, how do you hire these people to do it? What's that process? So I just made sure that I was at everything that was going on, and I learned retail, I learned radio, I learned, even if I wasn't going to do it, I wanted
just to know.
And in fact, they're like, maybe one day I'll run a record company. As I got into the business, I never wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to learn every aspect so that I know what was going on.
Yeah, I would, because that would be my next thing. Like, you're learning all these things.
Yeah.
But that you just said like you didn't want to run your own company. But I know like G and Hop, they created their own company.
They were smart early.
They created, so hip hop since 1978 was theirs.
Yep.
Did you ever say like, let me maybe create my own management after you saw the success of the guys you literally sat across the table from? I'm
gonna be honest with you. And that's why I love those guys, and they were smart, and they did, what they were supposed to. I always, and please don't take this the wrong way. I mean, it's in the bet. Those guys were geniuses. Anybody who goes and creates a company and signs artists are genius. I chose my freedom over having a company, having artists, having all of that stuff. It comes with work. It comes with, you're responsible for these people's lives. They were responsible for Kanye West's life, Just Blaze's life. You know what I mean? When you have somebody signed to your company, you go hard for them, and we went hard. And Jay was enough for me. Just being involved with Jay and I didn't manage him. I just worked with him, and I was close to him, and I knew that he was going to be the biggest. So that to me was enough. I didn't need to run a company and take up, even more of my time. I wanted my freedom to be able to, until this day, I do what I want, when I want.
In the words of Beating Two, I ain't the captain on the yacht, but I'm on the boat.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I prefer. At a drop of a dime, I could go to London tomorrow and do it. And again, not saying that you can't but if you have a bunch of clients, when you have a company, there's staff meetings you have to go to every week, sometimes 3 and 4, and there's a marketing meeting, and then there's a budget meeting, and then there's a release date meeting, and then you have to be involved in all the aspects, the geniuses of the world, the Kevin Lyles, the Leo Cohens, the Jay Browns, that's big responsibility. It comes with big money too.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to do what I want, when I want.
Yeah, and they always got to be in constant pursuit. Right?
As long as I take care of my job.
Yeah.
So being at Roc-A-Fella at the beginning stages, Volume 2 comes out and everything changes. And it was so crazy. I think I was in 7th grade when Volume 2 came out. Yeah, I was in 7th grade.
You said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Like 8th grade, maybe.
8th or 7th grade.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One of those two.
Yeah.
I was in junior high school. So I remember when that record came out, because I was a Jay-Z fan before that. From the first I wasn't.
Mike, check that. Check the facts on that.
I wasn't a J.
Nah, I'm just joking.
I was a J. That's
He's
crazy.
a Nas guy, but we'll
Well, Nas,
okay,
of course,
man.
but
It's okay.
I can't be a Nas.
Nah, me and Lenny on
fan.
this side of the table. We on this side.
You know what's so crazy? Sidebar. I'm such a diehard Nas fan.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because
Let's talk
he
about it.
switches sides all the time.
Nah, I love Nas.
He was a Nas fan, and then
That's my favorite album of all time, no matter.
Takeover came out.
Yes.
And he played it for me over, because I was in prep school. I used to play ball. I was in prep school in Massachusetts. He played it for me over the phone.
Yeah.
I think it might have been before I went to Massachusetts. I was home. He called.
No, you wasn't here. Because this is.
Nah, I was home.
Okay.
You played Takeover to me over the phone. He's like, listen, your man's done.
Never said that.
You said your man is done.
Never said that.
You said your man is done.
Never said that. We're not gonna put that on camera.
You said your
I never in my life said Nas was
You
done.
said your man's done.
Never.
He played me the whole song, and I'm listening to it on the phone. I said, that shit whack, bro.
You did say that. Now you did say that.
That's how
No. You did say that. I promise you did say that. Yo, this shit whack. I was like, yo, you bugging. This shit ain't whack. I never said he was done.
You don't think it was.
It was based off of loyalty. It was based off of loyalty.
Yeah, but you know, in this business, we can't be biased. Like,
No, that's a fact.
that's like me saying Ether's whack. Ether's not whack.
That's a
You know what
fact.
I'm saying?
That's
I
a
hated it. You know what I'm saying?
What that felt like though at that time, because let's just talk about it, right? Like
Oh my God.
you die hard, and you know this record is heating up New York. Angie's trying to deny it. Fat Joe's like, you can't deny this. Like, what's happening in the building? Like, is the room shaking? Like, are we just walking around like, nah, we gonna get him?
I speak personally because I don't like to speak for other people. No, for real. Personally, I was like, I was fucked up by it.
No, you got don't leave me there. Okay, that's all right.
No, that's real. Like you said, right?
Yeah, that was
The same passion,
Yeah.
the same passion that made him say Takeover was whack. You know, was the same passion that, again, I'm not like, you know, I understood what Ether was. I didn't like it. Meaning, no. Meaning like, I didn't like what it was.
Yeah.
The record was a great record. It's an amazing record. I didn't like what it was and who it was going towards. So same thing. My passion and my loyalty was like, and you know, at the time you listen to the radio, you know, it was all like, oh, Jay's done, Jay's did, Jay, you know how people like, you know what I'm saying? They immediately forget everything. And by the way, but anyway, so being in your city with the guy you think is the savior of everything, the best guy, best artist in the world, and then hearing the people change and hearing the people switch sides and hearing the people discredit Jay or whatever it was that was going on the radio and this, I was tight. I was like, you know, the author meme with his fist. I was like, whatever that is, that was me in the city, just like cringing.
I was hurt.
But it happens, right? It goes. That's what it was.
It was necessary. It was good for hip hop.
It was.
And that's when I realized like how human, how real, and how like selfless Jay was, right? It was like 2 ways at the time. I sent the 2-way.
Motorola, 2-way.
Angry, like no. I was like just angry, like some bullshit. People in New York are tripping, like, you know, like, because it was like I said, everybody was turning, and it was just like,
that's a fact.
say it's a dope record, say it was crazy, say, oh, he got him back, whatever. Don't say Jay's done or Jay's dead or, you know what I'm saying? Even what you doing that, you know, you could be like, okay, sure, but he's not done. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, that was I was passionate, I was heated, and I almost had like watery eye, like from being angry, not like.
Yeah.
And Jay, I wrote this 2-way and sent it to them. I think I sent it to the group, like a few of us. And he hit me, he called me. This guy who's going, you know, whatever he's going through, and Jay's super calm and collective. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying still, you got to think, again, right? You got to be self-aware. You can't be selfish. This is his moment to figure out, or his moment to whatever. You can't be putting your shit on. Imagine what he's going through. Imagine what the person's going through. And here this guy goes calling me, like calming me down. You know what I mean? Like, yo, don't stress. Like, we good. This is part of the journey. This is like he's calming me down on something that he's going through.
That's leadership.
That's leadership. And that was that to me was just like, man, I'll never leave this man's side.
Yeah, we got stronger after Ethan.
Ever. And then
Shout out to Jay.
Yeah, that's powerful moment.
Jay's a Billy
Powerful moment.
So, but So all
And Jay
right.
signed us.
Yeah. Right. So, let's. So
Let's my guy.
I declare. Well, I said like one of the biggest moments in hip hop was when I saw those two on stage, just because of what they meant to me personally. Both of us. We were both there.
Loved it.
I wasn't there.
You wasn't there?
Nah.
So I bought like
New York and Philly.
I bought like 13 tickets to the show. Like it was crazy. So like to see him come, because it was like
You thought he was going to diss
I
Dipset.
thought he was going to I thought he was going to diss Nas again, because it was like I
That's
declare
what he
war
had
on the
issues
industry.
with Dipset at that time.
He was it was like anybody who had an issue, and it kind of wasn't that. It was kind of like a uniformity thing. And Puff came out. I remember him being drunk on stage, and I was like, I'm just happy to witness this, because we had growing up, we saw exactly. We saw. We didn't see Pac and Big have reconciliation.
And I wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
Like behind the scenes, I wanted, like, there's something that I hope for, or something that, came up here and there, like, and it was just like, when the time is right,
I knew it was going to happen when Kanye put Nas on a record.
That was the sign.
We
made it, because it came right after Diamonds Are Forever remix on the album.
That was a big moment. But let me ask you, all right, Volume 2 comes out and everything changes. And Jay-Z becomes a global superstar. It sells, I think, like 5 million records. And, what's that song with Annie? Hard Knock Life.
Damn, don't try to do that.
Nah.
What's that song?
No. It just slipped my mind.
Important song. You see what I'm saying?
That's legend.
Yo.
That's legend.
One of the biggest records, not even in hip hop, in music.
No, that song is legend.
What's that song?
No, that song is legend. But like, so everything changed.
That's what I'm saying. What's that Nas song? Anthrax? What? Yo.
Is that little album again?
Nah, everything changed.
Drillmatic?
Yeah, something like
Drillmatic?
Drillmatic.
One of the best albums ever made. Illmatic.
Nah. Shout out to that Volume 2. That Volume 2 is classic.
Yeah,
definitely.
But everything changed.
Yes.
And Roc-A-Fella, it was never the same. So what was it like for you being in a building, and how did the business start to change? Because I'm assuming, like, that's when the business really started to take off. So you had an inside, like, viewpoint. How did that change as far as like scaling up very quickly?
It changed because, like you said, right? It made the world see the global icon that we knew Jay was, right? Because when you have something, you know how good it is. You're just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up, and that's what that was for us. I mean, again, whoever was with him, they knew. Me joining the team, 95, I knew. You know what I'm saying? Through Reasonable Doubt, through Volume 1, I knew it's just like, when is everybody else going to know? And Annie, I guess, was the record that broke, obviously, public knowledge. But, for us, it was like I said, even on my front, on a personal front, my mom stopped giving me applications to get a job because she thought it was, I'm saying? My family thought music was like,
They never believed
I say a joke, but what I mean? It's just not.
They didn't believe in it.
It's not a real thing that people look at it like, unless you saw, they went through Motown and all that. They looking at this like, what is this? So that made it real. I mean, having a hit record, a global hit record, made it like real. Made Jay-Z, for lack of a better word, a real thing for the outside world, for the people who were outside of us, who we were waiting to catch up. Like, we're waiting for y'all to catch up to see what he is and what he can do. And this is just an inkling of what he has. So that changed a lot, you know what I mean? And even with business, I just feel like how they moved forward and how they did their deals and how they were already businessmen, in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were already making money prior to. They were already, buying things, assets, and they had cars and you know what I'm saying? So it was just like the business was catching up to them. You know what I mean? I don't feel like, obviously everybody learns as they go to certain things, but I feel like those guys were super smart, and they just, it's like, okay, now they get it. Now we can activate all these things that we wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
So, and this is the toughest part, and it breaks our heart, because after, obviously, Blueprint goes crazy in 2000, and then he has Fade to Black in 2004, and we think, like, this is it, he's going to retire. Turmoil happens at Roc-A-Fella, breakup.
Wait, Roc-A-Fella, they broke up?
Well,
no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it hurt. So
happen.
You're in this situation now. You're part of this building. Like, what is it like now that we have Dame kind of here with the Dipset movement, and we have still with State Property too, but and Jay's still like the biggest artist there, and kind of still doing his own thing before, I guess, Kingdom Come comes. What's this like?
Was he the biggest artist there?
Yeah,
We didn't talk about Kanye West.
No, he's still bigger than Kanye at the time. 2004, yeah. Because Fade to Black is 2004.
Yeah, Kanye was getting huge,
getting there.
but still
He had to buy 2 tickets.
Still was Jay-Z.
Like, let's not forget.
Still was Jay.
Colleen told me I could buy 2 tickets.
No, Kanye was growing. It was
When did Kanye become the biggest? Jesus Walks?
No, that's still
that was the first
2004. So I would probably say
Second album?
I think Graduation. He
By
becomes.
graduation, he was already out of it.
I think that's when he becomes because
I think the second
it happens. What happens is
late registration.
not yet. I think the Kingdom Come Graduation thing, and then Jay standing next to him against 50, and that now he's out of here. Now it's Kanye out of here. Lenny, you may not. I don't know. What's your take?
no. I mean, the timeline will always be a little like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, they were both huge. But at that time, I think everybody was already like, moving in their own purpose and moving with who they were like moving with. You know what I'm saying? Like those things have kind of been established. It wasn't like, I know some people think like there's like some like breakup and then in the room and people like, you going this side, you wasn't.
You're going with mom. You're going with dad.
It's not. This was years in. You know what I'm saying? From an amazing company that they built together that and birthed so many superstars from the staff. You know what I'm saying? Natural. So again, it was just at that time you rocked with who you rocked with. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like Dame gave us some advice to like not break our thing up. What did you learn from that? Like seeing that whole situation play out, that maybe looking back on it, you could give advice on like, what I mean, business.
That's hard to answer only because, like it's home and it's like people go through what they go through and you don't
like a divorce.
Even me, I don't probably even know all of the reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't. Yes, I was on the inside and yes, I was there, but like I also kept my head down. I also, what I'm saying? I was reserved. I was also, I just kept my head down and I didn't involve myself in things that weren't my, per se business or, so again, I don't know what everything is and why, you know what I'm saying? But I wrote it out and I wrote it out as a team player and I always gave 100% and I always give all 3 of them credit, you know what I'm saying? Like they all helped make me who I am today. All of them individually, Dame individually was like, yes, okay, you could do this A&R shit. And Biggs supported me. And Jay always he just let me rock. Yeah. And for me, it's like Jay just letting me rock and do whatever. It was like, I'm not never going to take, advantage of this. I'm not never going to take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And I just proved myself.
Transition was smooth because then you have Roc Nation.
I was going right there with it, yep.
And then in Roc Nation, what point did you become a manager? Because I do want to talk about you being a manager.
After Def Jam. So Roc-A-Fella, Jay retires, whatever. He comes back. When he retires, I leave to go to Virgin Records for a year. I didn't want to work anywhere else, but Jay really, really wasn't doing anything. Like really, he wasn't. So the retirement
Fade to Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like after that, he wasn't doing like he really. I'm done. Yeah. And there was no work. There was no label. There was no.
Nothing to do.
You know what I'm saying? But I was still on his staff, and I was just like, Jay, I'm getting these offers at all these labels. It's like, yo, Lenny S, come. And Jay's like, no, we're good. Just stay here. And I'm like, yeah, but we're not.
Not doing anything.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like, I don't even want to take your money. He was paying me as a staff. Yeah. Remember? I didn't want to take your money if we're not. And he was like, no, you're good. Like, we're good. You know what I'm saying? He's a real one, right? Yeah. And then one of my mentors, which is one of his really, really great friends, is Big John Platt. One of the biggest publishers.
Yeah, he's on the list.
No, he's the biggest.
We watched his Rap Radar, and I was like,
he's the biggest.
No, we got to talk to this guy.
John was doing some stuff at Virgin Records and wanted me to come help out as an A&R, and then he could go to Jay directly and be like, yo, Lenny, whoop, and then Jay was like, I bet that's family, go ahead. So did that for like a year, and then after that, Jay took the job at Def Jam, and then I got summoned over to Def Jam.
And that's how you became a manager?
No, still A&R. Did that for the whole time Jay was there. So, got to work with different artists, Neo and Dream and Rose and just everybody, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't...
She's a part of that.
She's a part of it. I wasn't part of like,
a project.
But I mean, yeah, she was in. Yeah. And then when Jay left Def Jam, that's when he went to go start Roc Nation.
Right.
But when he left, obviously the whole team was going. So Tata, Jay Brown, just all of us. And L.A. Reid asked Jay if he could leave one person behind. Could he leave me behind? Because we had so many projects there. So he's like, while you guys go get that started, can you just leave Lenny here to still work here for a little while so that, because we had Jada, we had a bunch of people that were signed kind of like either through us or were like our fam or we were like helping out on projects. Yeah. And to not leave them, you know what I'm saying? To not leave it like...
This is the Ross Jeezy era.
Yes.
So
and I love that because I got to stay not under like, the Roc
So yeah.
Yeah.
shot, you know what I'm saying? And while they were starting that, and I got to work with all those artists.
And that's when you was managing.
The management started right after that. The management started with Khaled, Fabulous and Khaled.
And that's with Roc Nation.
Yes.
So, all right, let's talk about that. So, managing your first client being DJ Khaled. That's a good client.
Early on.
Fab
first.
Fab.
yeah.
Well, that's another good client to have. So, you had Fab first. What's the role of a manager? This is another thing, kind of like an A&R.
Yeah.
Manager.
Good
What is
question.
the role of a manager? Because we always hear managers, my manager. So
Call my manager.
We have a manager. Shout out to Abdullah.
Yogi, what up? We're trying to get
Which
this
is very
role defined.
responsive.
what was your
The role
as
of a manager is to help create, situate, maintain, every aspect of your career, right? That's from, revenue to, brand deals to the right, PR looks to helping build your brand to any and everything that has to do with your career and helping it elevate and evolve and become successful. And it's a full-time job, and you're dealing with the artist, and that doesn't come with just the artist, right? It comes with the artist's family, it comes with the artist's friends, it comes with the artist's entourage, it comes with everything, and it's like, it's a real time-consuming, but if you're passionate about your client and you're passionate about what you guys have, it never really feels like work. Every job gets stressful here and there, but I mean, I just love being able to control, the destiny together.
Yeah.
I love, being with a client or being with an artist or being with whomever you manage, and being able to sit down, put those plays together, put a plan together, and execute them. You know what I'm saying? In any kind of different way. Oh, we want to deal with these 5 companies. Boom, let's try to reach out. And maybe we just get 3 of them. But still, it's like, we didn't have any of them at all. Let's try to put this tour together with these artists. That would be amazing. Going out and reaching out to the people and getting them and getting the money and getting the funds and being able to do these things from scratch, for me, is like so fulfilling. So how I got into management was, I was still an A&R at the time. But like I told you from the beginning, I was so heavily involved with everything that was going on with an artist. So if I A&R'd an artist, I didn't think that was enough, right? Because we're doing an album, but my life or my job with you doesn't stop when we leave the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I want to make sure your video is crazy. So I'm gonna check out the treatment. I want to make sure your touring is crazy. I heard whomever's, T.I.'s going on tour. I'm gonna get you on that tour. So I was doing all of these managerial duties without realizing it.
That you was being a manager.
You wasn't manager.
And that's how it happened with Fab. It was just like, you already did this, that, and that. You know what I mean? Those are like 5 things a manager would do.
Mm-hmm.
And you just might end like, why don't you just manage me? You know what I'm saying? And that's how, because at first, which I love to tell people to inspire them to not be scared, right? To not be scared, to take a chance and I was scared a lot of the time and, fearful of failure. I just don't want to fail. And I would turn things down because I can't manage you. I'm not a manager. I didn't go to business school. I can't be I can't tell you about business. I didn't go to, but again, fortunately in our culture, we get to learn things, right? Hands-on. How many people we see shooting videos and shooting movies that didn't go to film school, that didn't go, you know what I'm saying? So it's like with everything, and we always figure it out. So that's how I made the transition into management. It was like, I'm already doing Shaka Pilgrim again, and some of my peers like, what? Like you're doing it now, like beyond. You're doing more than they're not him, but I'm saying to some other people, like, you're doing more than their managers doing. Yeah. But I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as like, I want to win. I never looked at all the things I did for the artists I work with as like, I'm manager. No, I looked at it like, we got to win. I put Fab on the Jay-Z tour one time because it was like, Jay's going out. He needed a little, he wanted a little support. And it was like him, Fab, and Sierra. And it was like, oh, Fab. And I hooked it up and I spoke to Jay, and Jay was like, cool. Like, I want my artists to win. So I want them to be on the best tour. I want them to be in the best brand deals, the best, like everything, at the best.
Very selfless of you.
Nah, it's a
very selfless. Yeah.
You take a percent. Managers get a percentage.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the percentage?
The percentage could be anything that you negotiate. It's anything from 5% to 20, 25. It's just, that's all on you and what you negotiate with your client. Sometimes people come and they have 2 managers, maybe they split it 10 and 10, or sometimes people come in.
They have a road manager.
And they have a road manager. But a road manager is just, that's more like a,
travel agent?
No, it's more like it's a position. They're all positions, but A manager would get 20% of a deal. Like a road manager may not necessarily get 20% of a show. They can if that's what they work out with the artist, but they could just be paid as an employee, weekly or bi-weekly for that service.
And what is a road manager?
A road manager is essentially everything that a manager does, but only for traveling purposes.
Okay.
So my road manager makes sure that, itineraries in place, that we had the hotels locked in, maybe advancing and getting there first and making sure our keys is right, or just setting up everything on the road, literally. Or we go to this restaurant, making sure, maybe sending security over to get a little, to advance and make sure it's good. And just, they manage the things on the road. So you necessarily wouldn't get a percentage from that. Some do. Some road managers also book shows. So it's like, I'm booking your show in North Carolina and I'm taking you and making sure you're good as your road manager, and they may collect off of that booking.
Yeah.
But,
So at its peak, so you had Fab and you had Khaled. These are early on. Did you try to take on more clients, or did you realize, let me just focus on these two? And then I guess the other part is that since you're so entrenched and you're taking on so many tasks, what role did it have on your personal life, right? Because this sounds like it's super time.
I never took on a lot of clients because I didn't want, Khaled and Fab alone were enough, that occupied most of my time. And I always got a lot of offers. I always got a lot of new people coming at me, like, I want you to manage me. Big artists that are, signed and doing well, or new artists that have super potential. But I don't want to take anybody on and not be able to be there for them like I would want to. So I turned down a lot of stuff. I helped make some management plays happen, where it's like, maybe I can't do it, but then I still, suggest them or bring them into Roc Nation. And because we have a whole team of 15, 20 managers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I could be like, hey, Moneybag Yo is looking for management. We'll bring him in, we'll start it, get it going, and then he'll go, and then like Mike Brinkley will take it over, or Mike Brinkley will, you know what I'm saying? So I've done that sometimes too. Like, necessarily I can't take it on for myself, but I could bring it on to the company and make sure that they're situated, and then we move forward.
It's very important, especially in our situation. I never really realized the importance of a manager until we actually got one. And so much stuff from, answering emails and working out deals and booking hotels and make sure the car service is there. So much stuff that you don't fully realize, and then especially how you start to scale.
It takes a load off of you, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we're there for.
So when you said the Roc Nation thing, I'm like, all right, that makes a lot of sense now. Because I always hear people getting signed to Roc Nation.
Yeah, so Roc Nation is a full entertainment company. Publishing, label, management, streaming service, sports agency, et cetera, et cetera. Spirit.
A lot of people are on the management side.
On the management side. So when you see, like, we saw Griselda go up there, and we saw Meg Thee Stallion
Big Sean, Meg, Meek,
Fat Joe,
Khaled, Joe. I mean, so many. Kiss.
I think Jim Jones is on Roc Nation.
Yeah, he is too. Yeah.
Let me ask you,
Meek.
before we wrap, we can't leave without talking about one of the biggest people that's ever come through the Roc-A-Fella system, Kanye West. So Kanye, when you was there, obviously when he first came through, you said you saw Jay. You knew Jay was going to be the biggest. Did you know Kanye was going to be the biggest? Like, what was your impression?
He was always dope. There was no doubt. I mean, even obviously from his tracks and from what he was doing, even before rap, it was no doubt like this guy was a prodigy. He was special. You can't make stuff like he was making and making those tracks and coming up with those hooks and coming up and not think that he wasn't going to be special. But I wasn't involved in all of that. Like, people are watching the doc now.
I haven't seen you yet.
But yeah, but I mean, like,
it's coming.
Yeah, but I wasn't. Yeah, I always stuck with Jay, and I kept low.
Say that.
So and it had nothing to do with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why even in the doc, you don't see me around. I wasn't.
Stay close to Jay.
Wherever Jay was at.
Not a bad decision to make.
No, for everything. I don't care if he had an interview at XXL. Like, I was there. I'll be waiting in the car a lot of times. He's going to meetings, and I'll wait in the car just to. You know what I'm saying? Just like a driver, like almost like it didn't matter whatever
role.
But yeah, man, and like I said, that's how we developed, a really great and amazing relationship. And at the same time, I was shooting, so and I looked at Jay like how back in the day, how I would look at photos and look at like a Marvin Gaye photo in front of Motown, or how I would look at a Sam Cooke photo with Malcolm X, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I looked at Jay. I was like, damn, I'm taking these pictures everywhere he goes. This shit, maybe 20 years might be crazy. Like, this is Jay talking to DMX, or this is Jay, talking to Dr. Dre about something, and I'm just capturing these things. So that's how I looked at it. So
you have a time capsule of history So I know you were talking. I mean, there was maybe a book coming.
Yeah.
Is that still in the works? Or
Still in the works.
we are gonna get the
Still in
book.
the works, yeah. And
Photo album?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a coffee table book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a collective of my behind the scenes photos for the last.
Yeah, because everybody takes your pictures.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out who Ain't No Jigga is. He takes
I was gonna ask him that off camera. I was gonna ask him
It's
that
not none of us, but it's
Everybody says the same thing. Everybody says the same
You're
thing.
really not.
Yeah.
I speak to them like
You spoke.
they're out of the country. Yeah, I mean we speak on DM.
Ain't no jigger?
Yeah.
Everybody said like,
Get
yo, he
these
gotta
facts,
be
it's like, yo.
he gotta be somebody that
He or she.
connected,
Or she.
heavily connected
Or
to the
she.
situation.
Yeah, but no, it's a real person. It's not none of us. It's not staff. It's not.
Not
No.
Jay-Z.
By the way, I'm
Phone.
Kodak Lens. I want all my shit. To go.
Kodak Lens. You
But no,
perfect name, Kodak Lens.
Yeah. All right. So
But yeah, Ain't No Jigga's dope.
there's been a couple of brands who sent us some spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Puff and his rock team. Shout out to Rose and the good folks at Bel Air. We've never been sent any Douce.
Really? I'll get on.
That's it, you said. Puffs was the
DeLeon. That's DeLeon.
Oh yeah.
Damn, this man
Yo, Shotty, what
is
you
wild.
We're trying to get the Douce.
Nah, so you purposely say wild things. No, because that's like a third, fourth one. No, let me know.
I'm trying to get us
So
to the
you
Douce.
thought Douce was Deleon.
Nah, I'm on jet lag, Tom. This guy back.
By the
from
way,
London.
even when he started, he was like Puff, and I'm like, why would Puff send Douce? Not like that, but it's like,
Nah.
I didn't know what
Oh
you
my
said.
black man.
So he does this?
Yeah, I got it. It's all
Because I
good.
see things that I remember you always saying wild shit.
Nah. Beg my pardon.
So, I'm trying to get us to the Douce party. You doing this?
Guys, so he thinks that Douce is Deleon, just so you guys know.
We start with a D, man. Pause.
Yo,
So,
damn, boy.
I mean, I've always seen
What
you.
a life.
I've seen you with the brand.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. I'm like, what does Lenny do with? Are you the?
So I'm a brand ambassador
Okay.
for a bunch of brands.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of them.
Most recently, Lobos, which is LeBron James tequila.
Saw that.
Yeah. So I'm brand ambassador for them. Douce always. That's just for life. That's just. I'm a dark drinker, and it's my brother's
Obviously.
cognac. Why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? So that's just a family thing. That's not like, oh, I am an ambassador.
Just
for
by
life,
because
just by association.
association.
You know what I'm saying? And I really believe in our stuff. I really believe in our.
We actually just missed him. We were at Native America and we was in the Douce Lounge.
Puff or Jay?
You.
No, you.
And we have a mutual friend. So actually, she was trying to connect us. And Esmeralda.
Oh yeah, I just spoke to
Yeah. So she was trying to connect us, and we had left. And she's like, "Where y'all at?" I'm like, "We just left." She's like, "Oh, I just came in with Lenny."
Yeah.
So
She's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're supposed to meet Shaka at Made in America. She ended up not showing up, but it's all right. We love
She's the
her.
one that got us the tickets, right?
Because
Her and Lindsay.
she's the best person who's like a mystery and like.
We spoke though for like a good hours.
good,
I was
yeah.
like, all right, this is positive.
Sherry Bryant.
Shari, shout out to Shari.
Shari's a legend.
Yeah.
Folks over at Roc
Yeah,
Nation.
I told her the seat
She
is waiting.
started with us at 15,
Yeah,
and she's the president now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
She's,
just
she's a big fan of
the seat's been waiting for her for 2 years. She said whenever she's ready,
She'll only come when she can promote her clothing, her brand.
I support my wife has it.
No,
That's
of
special.
course.
Nah.
Yeah, we can't leave. We can't leave just because I see the hat.
Oh yeah.
I see the hat, and I know
You guys are talking about financial literacy and
we have to.
Yeah.
And I know obviously the last memory we have of him is the Higher video.
Yeah.
And I know you were there.
yeah.
He's at the video.
The picture you took,
Shout out to Steve O.
the picture you took of him in the blue satin, I actually posted that on March 31st
Oh shit.
when it happened. Obviously,
Greatest
treasure bag.
image I've ever captured.
We had a good conversation about that with Steve O.
Yeah, your relationship, your thoughts on obviously this brilliant man that is on.
Brilliant guy who just was ahead of his time. Who what you guys are doing and what you guys are teaching. Imagine him having that foresight and having that mind state from
Off the rip.
a youngster, from a team. You know what I'm saying? And him and his whole team, and that whole team is just incredible, man. And the way they've been carrying on the legacy has been amazing. They're working on a whole bunch of really dope stuff. The Puma, obviously, capsule stuff. Lauren does just everything. Like that whole team is. That relationship came through. We all knew him individually, but it really came through Emery. Emery developed a really amazing relationship with him, and that's how we all got tighter with him. And I mean, that guy, man, was the best. He was the best because he did little things that also Jay would do, where it's like, And for me, for somebody who loves photography, you know, there's times where, you know, Jay might be somewhere and Nip would do this often and like actually see what I'm seeing and then kind of pressure me or ask me like to catch it. You know what I mean? So that day with the car, you know what I'm saying? We on the side, we on the brake, and the blue car is there, and you know they're switching film or whatever, and I'm looking at it, I look at him, and I'm in my head, I'm literally like, damn, I should catch Nip. I should catch him on this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, he had just got there. I didn't want to like, you know, bother him too quick, and he looked at me. He was like, "Oh, you want that shit, nigga?" And I was like he knew what I was like, right? And he was like, come on, nigga, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And he went up against that car, and I swear I took like 3 or 4. Usually, if they let me keep going, I'm gonna keep going, but I took 3 or 4, and he was like, you got it? And I was like, nigga, I got it. And he was like, you wanna take some more? And I was like, Nip, I got it. Like, I saw it right away. I only took like 3, 4 pictures. Yeah. And, but again, just that thing, that interaction, he would always do it, man. Him and Lauren were my favorite to also catch together, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see them out and about, and he'd be like, come on, I know you want to get this, you know what I'm saying? And I love capturing them, man.
You know, just listening to you talk, man, just the humility, right? Like, it's just like, yo, I'm a fan of this too. Like, I am who I am, I'm doing what I'm doing, but like, I'm still a fan of this.
I'm a fan first.
That's dope, man.
I'm a fan first. So the fact that these people even allow me to have this kind of like, you know what I'm saying, relationship with them, and they allow me to be in their lives, and more than anything, like, they trust me, you know what I'm saying? And I'll never violate that trust, man. I'm 25 years in, I ain't never have no weird shit going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never violate that trust.
Appreciate it, brother. Definitely enjoyable conversation. Glad we got a chance to do it. Thank you for stopping by. Anything, any last words for the people that you would like to let the people know? Anything?
Did Derek Jeter play for the Mets, or is that something you would
like? Listen, when the Halloween party comes,
done.
We need 2 invites.
Done.
Just forget everything he's done today.
Done. Go out and get Jay-Z's Deleon and get Puff's Buffet, guys.
Owned by black.
Owned by black men.
Owned by black men.
That's a fact.
All right, we got one more thing.
Yeah.
The gold couch.
Gold couch. My office.
At some point.
I'm begging you guys to
please.
come.
Can we please?
I'm begging you.
Please.
The whole purpose of it is to capture the people that I admire, the people that I respect, the people that I look up to. I need Earn Your Leisure on the couch. Oh my! You guys made me drive 5 hours upstate.
I'm gonna tell you, Shai doesn't know this. He doesn't even know this. So at one point, like, you used to, like, people would send packages during the break, Corona. I said the break, Corona, and like you would open them. I was like, perfect. I'm gonna send some up to the office. I don't know if it even got there.
Sent the merch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the boxes, it showed the address. I'm like, oh, bet. Screenshotted it. I'm like, we're gonna send it to him because he's gonna open it. It's gonna be perfect. I don't know if you even got it.
I did, but at the time, I didn't think I knew.
Fully appreciate the brand.
Because some of the things I don't know where it comes from. Like, I may have heard of it and be like, oh shit, but I didn't.
We gotta resend it.
No, we're gonna bring it.
No, bring it. No, bring it to the office. Yeah.
What size you? Large?
Come on, that logo is hard too.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I'm extra large. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. Don't judge, bro. Come on. For real. Damn, these wrists are looking real.
I'm home, so yeah.
Man,
I'll let Shai
life is good, huh?
Could be worse. You know what, Khaled, I had another watch on when we interviewed Khaled. He was like, wow, podcast doing well, huh?
Podcast is doing great.
Yeah. It's a big show. We call it the big show.
Business is booming.
Yeah.
Troy, housekeeping items?
Yeah, shout out to everybody from Roc Nation. Shout out to Lenny S and the entire team. So we had a
Lenny S, holla at your boy.
We're going to talk about that after this. Shout out to Jay Brown. I'm going to run down the entire team because in my mind, they're all friends. Shout out to Jay Brown. Shout out to Emery. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to Law. Shout out to Shout out to everybody.
Law reached out. He's
That's what I'm saying. We got shout out to Mel. We appreciate everything y'all have done. Biggs, Dame, of course. That's fam.
That's family.
We appreciate everything that y'all have done for us, especially there's 3 of us that started. Well, we're getting there, bro.
The biggest ever.
Let me get there. I told people when we sit down with Jay, leisure has been earned.
See that? Not if, when.
Oh, no, that's happening. We keep saying his name.
All signs are leading to it. It's just a matter of time.
We appreciate everything you've contributed to our lives on a personal level. For me, for sure, Shadi, I'm sure Mike as well. And shout out to all the earners that had to listen to us always talking about these guys, and now we get to sit down with them. So this is dope. It's a full circle moment for us. And shout out to everybody on EYL University, all the earners there that are learning and spreading the word of entrepreneurship is beautiful to see. Not only you learning, but executing on the information. So shout out to y'all. And shout out to everybody supporting the merch. Merch team in full effect. Shout out to Bim and Smitty and Mike and everybody. Jamal, Yogi.
Shout out to two of my favorite albums.
Oh yeah, Criminal Minded
BX.
and The Blueprint.
BX Borough.
The Blueprint Classic.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, love
You know
love,
the Bronx
love.
created hip hop, right?
Of course.
Stop, don't do
Okay,
that. Don't do that.
I'm making sure I don't know about this guy. You might say Queens or something crazy.
Bridge is over.
It started with Nas with him.
Bridge is over.
No, don't do that.
No, obviously the bridge can never be over.
But it was.
But it was.
But it was. Like,
What?
like it was. We didn't see Shan, and then Nas came. It was quiet.
You do acknowledge that, right?
Like, you can't, don't do that. We can't. You're not gonna give him that.
Wait, no. Of course.
KRS is one of those guys I got to meet too. I
Damn.
got a story. Like,
KRS legend.
I have to talk to him about.
Legend. Kenny Parker, legend.
Kenny Parker, D Nice, man. Like TR-808.
Derek. That's my brother, man.
Yeah.
So happy for him.
That was. I mean, I'm just thinking about the video of self-destruction and like all the people in that.
Self-destruction. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like 10 years
That's
old.
like 88.
I was
Yeah.
younger than that.
I remember taping it off a video music box. Shout out to Nas for doing the video music box documentary.
I didn't see
Powerful.
that.
Go
I
watch
see
that.
I heard it was good.
So
though.
fire.
Yeah.
So
I heard it was
fire.
good. Jay's in that, right?
A lot of people in that. Yeah. I remember coming home every day, 3:30 to videotape those. Like, oh, we're gonna miss this new video. So, y'all don't know what VHS is though. It's all good.
All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.